Hey, welcome back. I'm Rance Robinson. I'm your real estate enthusiast, real estate aficionado for all things Columbus, Ohio, Central Ohio. I'm so happy that you decided to join me back here on this channel. Hey, before we do anything, do me a favor. Could you like and subscribe? I hope that the reason why you're here is because you want to know about the bunches and bunches of suburbs that we have here in the city of Columbus. Now, just so you know, I tend to interchangeably say Columbus as well as Central Ohio. They're kind of interchangeable, kind of meaning the same thing. When we're talking about the city of Columbus, we're talking about the actual city municipality of Columbus. And then when we're talking about Central Ohio, I'm talking and thinking about all of the suburbs that exist around Columbus. This is not going to be a comprehensive video that talks about each and every suburb. What I'm going to do in later videos is I'm going to kind of take you on tours of different suburban areas that are in the city or attached to the community so that you can get an idea, because we have about 20 suburbs technically. And so with that, that means that this video would be so long and you would probably get bored as I talk to you about what is going on in Columbus, in the city, in Central Ohio, because I want you to feel immersed. Because if you're thinking about buying or selling real estate, that's the most important thing, right? Is, do I want to live here? Am I going to enjoy living here? Am I going to be happy here? Then I truly think that the answer is going to be a resounding yes. We have so many things that you can do, so many restaurants, so many places for you to eat, so many spots that are good for families, and so you will really be able to find a place to live. It's all about paying attention and knowing your surroundings and having a real estate guide who can take you on these trusted places so that you can have an idea of what's going on, and then you can have that trusted real estate friend, also me, who can help you purchase or sell or do both. You may want to sell so that you can move to another side, or you want to sell or you want to buy your first property. I'm here to help you with all of that. And so I want you to know that I am one of those types of real estate friends that you want to have in your back pocket, because I will give you the real. I will help you understand and game plan for your future, especially your future purchase, whether that's you buying for the first time or you upgrading for another house. All right, so in the meantime, let's talk about the different suburbs that we have here in the city. So let's break this down in two ways. One thing about Columbus is we definitely have suburbs in the city. All right, so the city of Columbus in itself kind of sits inside of an outer belt called I-270. So I-270 kind of goes around the city. And then through the city, we have I-71 that goes north and south, and then we have I-70 that runs east and west. And so if you think about it, it's almost like there's the city of Columbus, and then you have all of these suburbs packed around the highways. And we are able to travel pretty fast here. So we can get from one side of town to the other side of town, in 25 minutes or less, depending on traffic. As long as there's no wall-to-wall backed up traffic, then for the most part, it's going to be a pretty quick commute. You have various options to get to various places. I can get from Dublin down to Easton Town Center taking the streets, or I can do it on the highway. Just depends on the flavor that I want to take it. It just depends on that, right? And so let's talk about some of these suburbs that are inside of the city, that are attached to the city of Columbus. You don't actually have to take highways to get there. And some of those are especially Whitehall, Bexley, and these are more east. So these are on the east side. You have Reynoldsburg, you have Black Lake. These are really, 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 attached. Now, of course, depending on the way that you're traveling, yes, 270, you're going to cut past 270 on those streets. But I can go from downtown Broad Street, like Broad Street downtown Columbus, all the way to Black Lake, just taking Broad Street. I don't have to get on any other street. I'll pass through Bexley, I'll pass through Whitehall, I'll pass through Columbus again, and then I'll end up, I'll pass through Columbus again, and then I'll end up in Black Lake. And then I could even go a little further down Broad Street and end up in Reynoldsburg. That's what I mean by attached suburbs. And a lot of these suburbs that we have their own mayors, they have their own municipalities, they have their own fire departments and police departments. And so they are their own cities, and they are a suburb inside of the city. Of course, If we were heading west, you can go to Upper Arlington. You can have Franklinton, Ohio, which is a up and coming area that for a long time had some tough things going on, but now people are starting to purchase out there because everyone's looking for affordable houses. So homes are being renovated, homes are being beautified, and things are being changed. Some people will call it gentrification. And truthfully, that's what it is. You can't get away from it. So there is some gentrified areas that are happening and gentrification that's happening in the city of Columbus, as well as suburban areas. Now, if we're talking about some other suburbs, then you can go further east and you'll run into Pickerington, Ohio, which is nice. And then Canal, Winchester, Lithopolis, those are some other suburbs that are not too far from the city of Columbus. And beautiful homes, a lot of those areas have houses of different pricing points, so you can find something to live, you can find something to purchase, whether you're renting or whether you want to buy, there's places for you to live in those suburbs. Now, if we were to throw a little more north, there is a lot of options as well of places that you can get to. So Gahanna, Ohio was once rated one of the top cities for families recently. I believe it's as recently as 2020. So Gahanna does not have a lot of room for new builds because it's just kind of landlocked into, you know, like Gahanna and then Blacklick. If you go farther east, it runs into that, and then New Albany, Ohio as well. And so that is a cool thing about those areas, those pockets are, it's city to suburb to suburb. So if you really like suburban life, then you're gonna have plenty of options for that. If you like city life and you really want to be in the heart of it all, there's tons of options for you there as well. Okay, and so what other suburbs do we have here in Central Ohio that you might want to look up? And so definitely, I mentioned Gahanna, New Albany, Westerville. Westerville is, to me, it's a big little city, but it's still a village supposedly. So Westerville is nice. Then you have Dublin, Ohio. So I'm moving north, but I'm going from northeast to northwest. So there's Dublin, and then there's Hilliard, Ohio. You have some other pockets like Plain City, which is coming close. Then on the south end, of course, you have like Grove City. You also have Groveport, Ohio. All of these are close commutes when it comes to talking about Columbus. So if you want a little further out, some action that's further out, then maybe you want to look for a Plain City, or you want to think about Marysville, Ohio, or something like that, which might get you about a 40-minute commute that you want to drive. But Marysville to Dublin is probably about 20 minutes. So it just depends on what you want to do and how you want to go about your life. I mean, we even have Obetz. So Obetz is another suburb of Columbus. So there are just so many options for you to begin to look at. And so my goal is to take you around, get you acclimated, help you to start to see where you may want to be for you and your family, and how you want to live, and depending on if you need something that feels a little more fast-paced. Now, this is not a suburb, but the short north and the areas like Italian Village and different spots that are around the short north will give you kind of like a younger vibe. So if you're looking for that vibe where you're going out to restaurants, going out to bars, and you're hanging out, then you might want to be in the short north. Clintonville is another suburb in the city, and I absolutely love Clintonville. Let's also add Beachwald to that. So Clintonville runs into Beachwald, which is kind of on the north side, before you get to another suburb called Worthington, Ohio. So Worthington has a couple of schools as well, high schools there. It's got its walkability in some spots, and so you have more and more places. There are just a ton of places, and I'll make sure that I leave the list of suburbs down in the description below so that you can begin to do Google searches and try to figure out some spots that you may want to live in, or you may want to do your own research and kind of get some understanding on what it means to be in these particular areas. There are varying reasons why people want to live wherever they want to live when it comes to Columbus, but I can tell you now that it's really kind of hard to find a bad spot to be, because there's pretty cool people all around. There's some really decent people in this city, and so just like anything else, it's a major city. It's a big city. It's got a lot of people. It's over 1 million. By 2050, we'll be closer to 3 million people by 2030. So you're looking at a growing city that's growing into a metropolis that is really trying to make impact in business, as it has done for a long time, and making people feel at home at the same time. So there are some things that we're looking to do here, hopefully that'll make the city better, different public transportation options and all of that, that we're going to have to grow into as the city continues to grow. But for now, I hope that I gave you a list of suburbs that you can look at. I think Columbus is great. I think Columbus is the bee's knees. I think the city in itself is awesome. And so whether it's the city or it's the surrounding areas, there's enough for you to go off of until I drop my next video next week. So I hope that you found value in this, and I hope that I've earned your subscription. So please subscribe to this video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. If you have a question about a spot, I would love to answer that question for you and try to help you ascertain and get all the information that you need. So once again, I'm Rance Robinson. I'm your real estate enthusiast located here in Columbus. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I hope to talk to you soon.